Welcome back to the next part of my walkthrough series. I'm going to cover the second fight in your game, which is going to be the Rivalry of the Houses. Obviously, you're going to be meeting with the leader of whichever house you picked. In this case, for the walkthrough, I picked Edelgard, and I'll go over this with the other leaders of the houses, but in this case, this will be following the Black Eagles.
This is my chance to measure.
I'm going to skip that scene because that's not really important to the battle. But here is your first chance to get a feel of the characters that you've chosen and the house that you've picked. Again, don't worry too much about what's right and what's wrong, because you're just getting a feel for things. You're going to make some mistakes here because this is the first time you'll work with a mixed army. So you'll get an idea of magic, battle preparations, but nothing too big. Something very important to note, that even though you have 8 students in a house, don't worry about the adjutants for now, that's a concept that'll come up later. You can only take, apart from, of course, the professor, Byleth, and the house leader, in this case Edelgard, you can only take 3 students with you. And that doesn't necessarily put you at a disadvantage, because if we survey the map, you'll notice that the other houses aren't bringing in their full army either. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. But that does mean you have to pick and choose who you're bringing along. Hubert is a good mage, Ferdinand's all-around attacker, Linhardt's the healer. This is usually how your fighters are going to be distributed. You're always going to have the character that best represents the qualities of the house. In this case, Black Eagles is magic, so you've got Hubert. You'll get one all-around attacker, in this case it's Ferdinand, and a healer. I'm just going to go with this team, but obviously you can switch things around. I've switched Linhardt for Dorothea because I felt that Dorothea's constant songstress ability was significantly better healing than, or more reliable than Linhardt constantly rushing over and healing one person at a time. But there's no right or wrong answer here, at least not yet. You're just getting used to combat. Pay attention to the victory and defeat conditions. They'll normally remain somewhat constant throughout the game, but they will affect how you win a fight and what strategies you're going to go through when you win a fight.
The mock battle is finally here.
I'm sure you're already on. Incidentally.
Okay, I'm just going to skip most of the conversation. Now, something you need to understand is that you're one house against 2, so you're going to have to be really particular about how you engage people. In this case, you will need to check the attack zone of your opponents, and you can do that by pressing ZR on your controller. And the reason you need to do this is because you need to find out, well, first of all, what's going to draw people in to attack me. Because this fight's not going to get started if you never step into that purple-reddish zone. Which is kind of a pity, but that's just how this game is. They want you to run into combat.
None of your shallow. Me? Ash. Got it. Once you pick.
Yeah.
I'm on it.
Oh my.
Now, I'll just go over what just happened and a little bit of the situation. You can tell on the upper right, you've got the blue lions. In the upper left, you've got the golden deer. Now, what's really important to note, despite the fact that I've just already engaged in the first turn, is that the blue lions are perfectly open. You've got Mercedes, who's your archer/healer, Dedu, who is going to be, again, the representation of the blue lions focus on offense, house leader Dimitri, and Professor Hanneman. You've also got Ash, who is the archer. On the Golden Deer side, Lorenz will bring on some of the offense. Again, going back to what I said earlier, that all the houses have at least some mix of fighters. Ignaz is your archer, and you've got Claude and Hilda, with Professor Manuela in the upper left. Now, what's very important to note is that Claude and Hilda are actually in a very impenetrable position at first, because they're surrounded by rocks which you can't cross, and there's 2 walls that protect them. So if you want to get to them, it's probably easier to get through them through the blue lions. Now what I've done is I positioned Byleth in a forest so that when he provoked Lorenz had a very low chance of actually hurting the professor. And that's really advantageous for me, because then I can just go in and hit Lorenz and not suffer any damage. Now, notice that Ignatz and Ash are archers. I know that sounds incredibly obvious, but it's easy to forget and get caught up because you've just learned how to use magic. Lorenz can't hit a magic user, like Linhardt or Hubert, but Ignatz and Ash will attack as if they've been shot with arrows. So it's very important to remember that if you are planning to actually utilize Hubert or Linhardt's magic skills in some way, shape, or form. Now, again, it's technically one house against two, so you are going to have to plan this really well.
Such power.
My suggestion is obviously focus on one fighter at a time. I don't care how you gang up. This is not about honor. Like, if you're treating this like, oh, well, I have to fight honorably, you are going to get your butt handed to you. Get victory however you can.
I've lost.
And that, even if I've already taken down 2 students of the Golden Deer, and not much has happened.
Well done, team.
Now, as I said, Claude and Hilda are not going to move very much. But that is okay, because they're not our targets. I'm going to have Ferdinand poke Ash, get some combat experience in, and I'm going to have Byleth finish him off for those reasons.
That is that.
Now I'll check the attack range, and you'll notice that it's no longer as wide because I don't have Lorenz, Ignatz, and Ash building up a bulk of the offensive range, because despite appearances to the contrary, they were a big reason why this zone was red at first. Now, with things the way they are, I can quietly position myself and not worry too much. Now notice that your characters do have a vulnerary each, but despite that, you still want to make sure that your healer, in this case Linhardt, is not overextending himself, because that's just a stupid decision waiting to happen. Now, I can actually put Edelgard in a forest, use cover to your advantage, there's no harm in that, and I'll provoke Dedu. You can tell that I'm provoking Dedu because you can see a red line coming from him to Edelgard.
Really gonna fight? This is a good opportunity.
Yep. I've just provoked the blue lines into attacking. Oh gosh. Now, the reason why that was important was because if you try to attack Claude through that wall and through his rock fortress, you're not going to make it. Now, contrary to what you might be thinking, it's going to take Claude some time to actually reach you. So in this case, I am much better off taking down the people who have just appeared, and Dedu is not actually in cover, which is the perfect opportunity for me to blast him with magic with Hubert. Follow up with Ferdinand.
Apologies. You are nothing.
And that's Dedu gone. Now, actually, I can take down Mercedes as well, but still gotta be careful here. Oh, I missed. Well, this is Fire Emblem and things happen. Oh well. Now, I'm going to remind you again, and other players, that I am playing on normal casual like a scrub. I really am not interested in what you think because, well, I develop an emotional attachment to characters. Again, as I said, keep your health up. Don't worry too much. Oh gosh. Oh, and I've just lost my healer. Oh well. Linhardt really wasn't as necessary for the beginning part as... Anyway, that just opens him up to an attack from Dimitri, or I mean, Dimitri to an attack from Hubert, and then I can come in with Edelgard and hit him from a safe forest position.
I would expect. That
My training was...
Don't worry too much about levels. I know I'm playing on normal and can say this without any real worry, but
Each battle, a chance to grow.
notice that I've only lost one person so far, but I've basically taken down the entire Blue Lion house. I mean, I know there are gonna be people who condemn my strategy, but like, as I said, I am not very concerned.
Look at that.
Careful.
Losing.
To shock.
Now that Claude's... And remember, Claude is an archer, so unlike Dimitri, you can get up close with him and hurt him, and nothing too bad's gonna happen. But obviously, that's still no excuse to get careless.
That was nothing.
Now, I'm actually gonna put Hubert in a forest, because he's better primed to take out Claude. And magic can miss, so even if Hubert was going to get hit, he's still defended in the forest.
Is that all?
Hilda can do a ranged attack, and Manuela is a white mage, but in this case, it doesn't make a terribly large difference, because, well, now at this point, they're really out of offensive tricks.
Well done.
The mark of nobility.
It's probably even for the best that this is played on normal casual, because it would be kind of suck to lose a character forever.
You've made it past.
Yes, Fire Emblem is a game that will often be about missing attacks because of reasons. But notice, you have to divide and conquer. You cannot take both houses on at once. You have to plan around this. Damn it. Well, you know what? I'm just gonna leave it to them, or give Hubert one shot. Oh, Hubert actually is out of miasma. Oh yes, that brings me to another important point. Magic can run out in this game. So it's very important that you notice how many charges are left and that you don't make stupid decisions, like use it all on weak enemies. Either way, Hilda is going to die.
Now you're
Or at least be incapacitated for this mock battle. And now all that leaves is Hanneman. I've still got 4 pretty decent fighters, although Hubert is pretty useless because he's got no magic. But I'm actually going to position... This is my personal preference, but I'm actually going to position Ferdinand very close to Hanneman. Not because I'm paranoid that Hanneman is really going to attack. As you'll find, Hanneman's not going to do anything and let me peacefully position. But it's better for me to get Edelgard in a better position to fight, and then or Byleth, I should say, in a position to attack, so that nothing too stupid happens, even if Ferdinand doesn't help in finishing the final blow. Now, I know what you're thinking. Again, yes, I know. I'm being reckless because I am playing on normal casual. I get that, okay? But still, I'm just teaching you how to play. I'm not yet at the stage where I'm going to be playing for, like, permanent losses.
All right, that's that. The Black Eagle House.
Even though
And you win! Fantastic! But no matter which house you play, the strategy is going to be pretty much identical. You are going to have to divide and conquer and plan things out. In this case, engage the Blue Lion house so that you'll draw out the Golden Deer house and don't have to fight through Claude's giant barricade. And once you've taken care of the Blue Lion house, or at least the main fighters, everyone else will be relatively easy to clean up. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that video, and or this walkthrough, I should say. And if you like this video and others like it, Please do subscribe. There will be more Fire Emblem Three Houses videos in the future. See you next